Attending the Chicago International Film Festival, watching a movie directed by a Mexican woman, Patricia Regan, who is among the few female directors in Hollywood production, a question came up in my mind. Why are so few women in the film industry, especially as films director? I thought it would be an interesting topic to reflect on. For sure, women are doing a great work in the film industry, most likely as producer, script supervisor, producer manager, art director, costume designer, hairdresser, or in charge of the wardrobe. But very few are giving this heavy task of director. Is there any specific reason why they are pushed away from this position? Is it in fact a worldwide problem? Women director or filmmaker are associated with certain genres like comedy, drama, or romance, which are not regarded as the most commercially viable. Women are also regarded as more likely to direct female-led films. Women have the same skill as men, and they are more likely able to compete with them in the same level. Looking at the career of some female directors like Patricia Regan, I found that women are well talented, either to direct film about women's life or lead a large crew as she was able to do with the 33. Beside the fact that there are some men who are well known in Africa as film director, Pierre Lamiogo from Burkina Faso, Basek Bakobio from Cameroon or Ousmane Sembène from Senegal, there are some women who emerge and who are doing great work in the film industry in Africa. They are producing valuable movies that bring awareness about the place of women, their role in the society, and their daily struggle. Among them we have Josephine Daknou, Florence Aïssi from Cameroon, Apolline Traoré and Eleonore Yameogo from Burkina Faso. The studio executives often protest that there simply aren't enough talented female filmmakers to choose from, or women's competence can handle certain types of film or aspect of production, such as commanding a large crew. First of all, what is the task of a film director? A film director is someone who is in charge of making sure that every component of a movie runs smoothly. Generally, these directors work on a movie from its conception stage to its delivery stage. They have a say in how the scene unfolds, what props are going to be used, how the characters should look, and who should play a specific part. Directors also work with individuals in charge of lighting, scenery, writing, and so forth to make sure that all the elements come together. The director is in charge of three main phases, which are pre-production, production, and post-production. Generally, he or she does not actually do the work for post-production, but is in charge of overseeing it. Some research found that when a woman is directing a film, there is a huge percentage of women involved in the production. On the contrary, when it is a man, the percentage of women involved is very few. To be a director, you need to have a strong personality, to have strong ideas, like Patricia.
Centric films are often directed by men, so I found it incredibly refreshing that you are in the director's chair on this one. Can you tell me a little bit about getting involved, and also maybe if you had any advice for female directors out there?
Well, I got involved. I was sent the script. I found it just very, compelling as everyone else. I wanted to explore why this event was so special and unlike all the other catastrophes of the world. And of course, it was very appealing to me, the fact of working in a mine with drills, with miners and rocks, and that it was being given to me. So I thought, let's do it.
31, 32, 33.
I am very encouraged by the bravery of the American female directors that are starting their class lawsuit. I admire them and I respect them and support them, and I think that even if it doesn't succeed, just the fact that they're stepping out and speaking out and everyone's calling attention to a very clear situation is going to help a lot. So I think this is the time for all female directors to get their scripts out and to start going, because they're going to hire you right now. I already started getting the calls.
Patricia Regan was born on June 2, 1917 in Guadalajara, in Mexico. She is a director and producer known for the 33, La Misma Luna, Girls in Progress.
A coming-of-age story is the story of a young person's interchange from child to adult.
Grow up.
I'm trying.
And the transformative journey that brings about that change.
Don't wait up!
In other words, think of it as a template for leaving your childhood behind.
How? I'm just here because I need someone to recognize my potential and watch helplessly as I throw it all away.
Your daughter, she thinks she's in a coming-of-age story. She's trying to grow up. I think she believes experiencing certain things will speed that process along.
Why aren't you ever here?
You don't have to go to Harvard to see a little girl crying out for help.
Have a nice day.
She's trying to leave home, like you left home.
How dare you judge me? I was a little kid. My mother was never there for me.
Aren't we constantly changing throughout our lives? And isn't that a good thing?
Directing the 33, Patricia Regan has shown that a woman was able to command a large crew. She lived in the mine with these 33 men and all the staff to produce the film.
And now I wanted to ask you about working with Patricia, because I love the idea of a female director working on such a male-centric movie. So what was it about her style that made her stand out on this set?
Combination of sensibility and a strong personality.
She's a tough cookie, eh? You have to be a tough cookie just to get in a mine with 33 guys, a lot of testosterone going on.
Her sensitivity is visible in the film, and as a woman, she had this special way of showing how women with strong personality are able to change the course of life.
I want you to promise me you do something.
I can promise you we're going to do everything we can.
These men dying with the whole world watching. 33 men on the ground, 300 mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, and we are their only hope.
Let's get ourselves some miners.
The families, from the beginning I thought were absolutely important, because I find them responsible for the fact that the government saved the miners. The families were there. They were the ones that never lost faith, never stopped believing that they were alive, and pushed everyone. They brought the news media to cover the events. They were, yelling and fighting at the government. They were so active in forcing everyone to see and to help, that I find them heroic also. So I wanted to give them a good space in the movie.
The two first films about women's life and struggle are more realistic because a woman directed them. The feelings of a woman as mother, as wife, as female can be more expressed by another woman rather than by a man. Even when a female director have highly applicable genre experience, as with comedy, drama or romance, they are still seldom given the high-profile opportunity to direct those genres, even when those comedies, drama, romance feature a leading female. But Regan has demonstrated that woman is capable of doing something greater than what a man will do. She has a wide view of how things can work. She has the capacity to focus on aspects that a man might not see or notice.
Brought a worldview to this. She was able to focus on aspects of the story that you might not focus on. I mean, it could have been an action film. Like you said, it could have been testosterone laden. She never forgot the heart. She never forgot the soul. She never forgot the family elements. And also being Mexican, she never forgot the cultural aspect of that. There are touches in this film, from the altars to the prayers to the food to all of that that are so culturally infused that we never forget this is Chile. We never forget these are people living in a mining town called Copiapó. And without somebody without Patricia Regan's sensibilities, I think those things might have been lost.
As a director oversees creative aspects of the film, the ones that concern women will be well expressed by a person who looks alike. About the 33, even though it is the history of the 33 miners who were men, the other side of the film shows the struggle of their families, and the main characters of this struggle are women. I'm quite sure that it has been well pointed out because of Regan, who is a woman. She wanted to show that there has been an active part associated to women in the rescue process. We perceive it with the engagement and the action of Maria Segovia, played by Juliette Binoche, and Katy Valdivia de Sepulveda, played by Kat del Castillo, the wife of the hero Antonio Banderas.
It's 100 degrees down there. Do you know what that's like? It's a tomb.
We have to suspend any further rescue attempts.
I think there's a lot of heroes here, actually. I mean, obviously, the biggest ones, I think, are the men that were able to stay down below and really focus on whatever positive thoughts they could hold on to survive that long period of time without seeing sunlight.
But also, we tell another story of how we're feeling there, and it's because of the families that they pushed so much, so hard in this love, and they wouldn't give up.
Why is it taking so much time?
Look, I know you're all growing restless, but I'm here to assure you that we are doing everything we possibly can to make contact with your loved ones.
We need to know, is there a life?
I don't have a definitive answer right now.
I think her and Maria Segovia and other wives and women and family members, they fought from the bottom of their heart and guts. And they spoke out and they were heard. And that made the big difference.
Who threw that?
I did. What are you gonna do? Shoot me?
Get off the property! And you too! Come on! All of you!
And I think the push from the families to the government, the push of the family to the rescuer, it was so strong. And it says so much about the whole entire story, about life itself, that it's fundamental.
I think the movie is about love, not a traditional love story, but it's very interesting how people coming together in order to achieve a goal.
There are more and more numerous but less visible African filmmakers who are women and who are producing film for 50 years. Among the first one is Sarah Maldoror, an engaged historical director. In this highly gendered environment in our African continent, the idea of the filmmakers tend to be attached to men. But women's cinematic expertise and talents need to be considered in order to help perpetuate the new ideas brought about by African women in the film industry. What could be said in general terms is that filmmaking in Africa in the post-colonial period has been dominated by men with very few women directors emerging, particularly in the realm of feature-length fiction filmmaking until recently. Many of the great women directors who emerged on the continent in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, such as Sarah Maldoror from Angola, Safi Faye from Senegal, and Anne Mungai from Kenya, have made very few films. The ones that they have made have not been widely screened and sometimes do not exist in modern digital formats. For example, Sarah Maldoror filmed Zambizanza, which was the first feature-length film fiction to be made in Africa by a woman. There are many women involved in film administration, in the running of film festivals, and working as actresses, but there are far fewer working as film producer and director, said Lindiwe Dove from South Africa. Looking at the career of some female filmmakers in Africa, we can perceive clearly their perspective and the struggle they have been through in order to be recognized and accepted. What makes it difficult for women to take the position of director in Africa? There are different factors that intervene in determining why is so few female directors, mostly in Africa. Beyond what she observed, in Africa, some of the major problems are family life, lack of trust from male producer, amount of time that needed to be spent on a film set, and mostly time to attend some festival to promote the film that is released.
Je ne dirais pas qu'il est plus difficile pour une femme de faire des films par rapport à un homme parce que le système de financement est pareil pour que ce soit un homme, que ce soit une femme. C'est les mêmes conditions en fait. Les dossiers, il faut être plus performant pour pouvoir décrocher déjà un producteur et après aussi les financements. Donc moi je dirais que la seule difficulté que je reconnais, c'est la disponibilité en tant que femme. Parce que nous avons des enfants, nous avons un mari à gérer et le foyer, donc il y a des moments où nous ne sommes pas tout à fait disponibles pour des événements comme des festivals ou pour même être sur un plateau de tournage. Donc c'est ça la difficulté. Le FESPACO, à travers son délégué général Michel Ouedraogo, ils ont compris qu'aujourd'hui, il faudrait compter sur les femmes pour l'évolution du cinéma africain. Parce que nous avions des grandes réalisatrices aujourd'hui comme Fanta Nakro, comme Apolline Traoré, qui est d'ailleurs en compétition au long métrage du FESPACO. Donc moi je pense que c'est une belle initiative de leur part et c'est à nous les femmes de nous affirmer plus. Et quand on arrive dans un milieu professionnel, d'arriver à oublier que nous sommes féminins, qu'il faudrait qu'on arrive avec nos idées à s'imposer.
My name is Apolline Traoré and I'm a filmmaker from Burkina Faso. I have a production company in Ouagadougou in my country. It's called Les Films Selmon. We do a lot of television and also when we can get a lot of money, we'll make a feature film. So it's been a very, very good experience because I've went back home in 2005 because I've lived for a long time in America and I decided to come back home and to make film about my continent and my country. So it's been a little bit tough in the beginning, but now I'm very proud of what I've done and the position that I'm in right now. I think that I'm in the beginning of my career and I presented my second feature film at FESPACO and it was a very, very nice experience because we won for the film the best lead actress that Burkina actually never got in the years of Burkina. So it was very, very important to me.
Female directors are not given the same support and opportunities as their male counterparts. As a result, there are a number of activist projects and organizations working to challenge and raise awareness about this inequity. Even if the film is related to women's life, it tends to be directed by men. Unfortunately, some end up with a man perception of the woman rather than women perception or feelings as women. A woman will be more skilled to realize a movie with women as the main character. Men tend only to show the physical aspect of women, their body, sexuality, and their position as men inferior or assistant.
I think what's different about it is that we're in a better position to talk about women problems and children's problems. And I know that for what I usually do in my films, I've talked about the woman fight to survive in Africa, the woman belief on what Africa should be. And I think that with the experience that women have had, and we haven't had a lot of women in the filmmaking. And of course, it's the men that were telling our stories. I'm not saying that the men cannot tell our stories, but I think with our own experience, we are in a better place to tell our story. So our eyes is a little bit more, sometimes we will think that the eyes of a woman filmmaker, it would be a little bit easy to put the woman in the better place. But for my experience, I think that we actually see everything as for women. We see the struggle, we see the strength, and we also see their by choices, and we treat it a different way. And I think a filmmaker who will treat his character like a prostitute as a woman is going to be different than a woman that will talk about it. And I think so this is what our strength is about, because we know much more about women. And being a filmmaker today, there's a lot of things that hasn't been told about film, about women and about children. And this is actually an opportunity for us to express ourselves and show the world what an African woman really is.
As for many African women filmmakers in Cameroon, women are still few in the industry. The fewer ones who are well known were not recognized as filmmakers for a very long time. They had their training formation as filmmakers, but back to Cameroon, there was nothing for them as job opportunities or possibility to put in practice what they have learned, and this for decades.
J'ai jamais fait d'école de théâtre, non. Mais j'ai joué à la télévision dans des téléfilms par hasard. Et puis ça a plu, et voilà, ça a plu, mais j'ai arrêté parce que le succès de ces téléfilms m'a fait paniquer. Et je me retrouvais plus, je disais, mais qu'est-ce qui m'arrive? C'est pas moi, je n'étais pas préparée à ça. Mais en fait, j'avais joué parce que je cherchais un travail de réalisatrice. Et comme c'était difficile, on ne me recrutait pas. J'étais assistante sur le téléfilm L'Étoile de Noudi, assistante de réalisation. Et puis j'ai proposé de jouer parce que je me suis dit, si je me fais remarquer, peut-être qu'on va me recruter comme réalisatrice. Et c'est ce qui s'est passé en fait. Parce que le film a tellement marché que voilà, on m'a recrutée comme réalisatrice. Mais...
One of them, Florence Aissi, was born in Cameroon. She obtained a degree in English from the University of Yaoundé, and then she moved to UK for postgraduate study in film and television, where she obtained a master in production and directing and a master in theater and media production. Her first feature-length documentary film, Sister-in-Law, co-directed by Kim Longitino in 2005, has won over 28 prestigious film awards, including Prix Art et Essai at Cannes Film Festival. Sister-in-Law is a best-selling documentary. In Kumba, a small town in southwest Cameroon, there have been no conviction in spousal abuse cases for 17 years. but two women determined to change their community are making progress.
Madam, when I saw this lady, okay.
Listen, I don't want long stories of a lightning flash
not like
in 1940.
Not 1940, madam.
Just tell me, did you go and marry this girl? That's what you men do. You just harvest children all over the whole place without marrying the mothers.
Kusala Quartas. But first, compare one Sunita Mwanda, a female under the age of puberty, to have sexual intercourse with you. Are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Marcus, I just beg you to support mommy. I love you. No, I said the chances in a bad I can do for you. I wouldn't make it as they want to go change for me. Oh, Marcus.
This one or this one? This one. Edisha, take her in there and change what she's wearing. You see now? Whoa, who's that? Is that Manka or some girl from America? I'm sure this girl is from America. I'm not sure it is Manka.
Okay, Mama, thank you.
You don't see it before?
The man is still on our house.
Okay, so it is taken on a house. Now, on a neighbor now.
It's my go buy and kitchen. Now I should go and keep it. Inside the room and tie my mouth and tie my
With which kind of thing?
pieces.
Pieces?
Red pieces.
Red pieces?
Tie my face and my mouth.
You remember you took the color for cut here?
It take my hand and tie in the back. She go and lock it down. And ring me. I want to go and make up.
How did he rape you? Say what he did to you.
He take me and put it on the bed and rape me. All my skin is blood.
Which part of your skin?
All my skin go down. It's blood. He take me and throw me out and lock it down. And Mama wants to show that it's already locked it down and get up.
And he escaped?
So I should go and call the neighbors in the house. I should go and there are some basins in the house. They take my boots inside and wash me there. I should go and call my father and take me in the hospital.
I know be so. Before God and mind, I know if you do that kind of act. For since I born, and then if I tried such a thing. So I tried the place. Yes, I don't tie with anything. Neither pieces or clothes, red pieces. I don't get such a thing, and that kind of thing if it come from my mind.
Born in Cameroon in 1964, Josephine Daknou worked as an assistant director for national television in Cameroon for 17 years. After graduating in 1989 from the University of Sorbonne in France with a major in production and filmmaking, she went back to Cameroon to put in practice what she learned at school. She remained 17 years as assistant director. That is why she started playing as a series characters and acted in several TV series. All this because of her gender. In 2007, she decided to produce her own film. Paris or Nothing is her first feature. She wrote, directed, produced, and played the main character. Being a director in Cameroon needs a lot of courage. The lack of finances and the piracy don't help African filmmakers to carry on their desire to develop African cinema. Daknou said, "It is so hard to make a film. There are many difficulties in the film of production.
une longue frustration d'être formée pour un métier et de ne pas le pratiquer. Et parce que après mes études de cinéma en France, je suis rentrée au Cameroun, travailler pour la télévision. Mais en fait, j'ai jamais pu faire de films, de téléfilms à la télévision. Comme actrice, oui, mais comme réalisatrice, non, j'ai pas pu en faire pendant 17 ans.
So being a director means long time of work away from home. That is really difficult for African women. It is important for them to take care of their children, to be with them, to see them growing up. The work of director is demanding. It is more difficult even to deal with men who are in the crew, to impose them a certain type of behavior. For example, Antonio Banderas said that Reagan imposed them to speak English with Chilean accent. It was so demanding, but she was firm in her requirement. Reagan herself acknowledged that for the 33, they spent a lot of time inside the mine, having the same experience that miners had to understand more how their feelings was at the time. It is hard to work in a certain condition and most difficult for a woman. All of us having to walk in every day at 6 a.m. and walk out of there at 10 at night, it affected us, says Reagan. There is no night or day. It is a very strong experience. It really made us understand, at least in a little way, what the 33 miners went through. We kind of live the life of a miner during this time. For a mother, to leave her home from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. is quite demanding. It is almost leaving aside family life, which is really important in African culture. I will say that a lot of women have position in script writing, directing movie. So I think nowadays, women have not only been relegated to this job considered women's job like hairdresser or an actress. Today, we see a lot of them on the set. There is an emergence of new sensibility. Directors like Florence Ayesi, Apolline Traore, who write films for women, who have that respect and different way of looking at women, are doing a great job. There is a real need of such director to write script for women. It will definitely be a great time for women to show new side of films in general and particularly in Africa.